What's going on, guys? I'm Mike O'Brien, and this channel is normally all about how to grow your online influence on YouTube or Instagram or whatever it might be. And this video right here is going to be a gear review about a camera that I like, and I'm recommending this, but only for specific people. So one of the most important decisions you can make when you're starting off on YouTube, for example, or Instagram, whatever videos you're making, is which camera is the right one for you. So it's really important that you don't just go out and buy the most expensive one that doesn't work for your needs, or the cheapest one, or just a GoPro, or whatever it might be. You really have to consider what your style is and what you're trying to do, and then choose the camera based on that. And remember, your camera is going to be your best friend for a very long time as you're growing your YouTube channel or your Instagram account or whatever it might be. So it's really, really important that you choose the right camera. The Sony a6400 is one that I really like. It may not be the best one for every single channel out there. So really the objective of this video is to break down who would like this camera, who would not like this camera, as well as the pros and the cons, what I like and what I don't like about this brand new Sony camera. So the Sony a6400 came out in March of 2019. It's a very new camera. As you can see, I have quite a few accessories on this one right here, but it's a full frame camera, shoots 4K 60, has some very, very impressive specs, and there's a lot more to talk about with this camera. But before we get too far into this video, if you are new here and you're starting your online channel, whether that's on Instagram or YouTube, like I said, start now by going down and clicking the subscribe button. My brother and I have been on YouTube for a long time, and we're trying to share our experience and our advice and our tech reviews and everything of that sort with you guys to help you grow your online influence. This camera right here, if you watch other reviews, people get so excited over the same few things. I'm gonna try not to cover those too much. People get so excited over the little flip up screen right here. I'll zoom in and show you guys that right there. A little flip up screen. People flip it up and they get so excited that they can vlog. But guess what? The Canon's been doing that for a long time. And then the next thing they talk about is how, you know, when you flip it up, it's in the way of a shotgun mic and you have to buy a cage like this one. I'll actually link one down below, by the way, if you want to buy this. Cage is pretty nice. So it's kind of a little counterintuitive. They get excited that you can vlog with this, but then they say you can't vlog with this unless you buy a ton of accessories and make it really inconvenient. So for that reason, I don't know if I would recommend this specific camera for vlogging, although it may be useful for a lot of other stuff. So just to give you a little bit of an idea of what this looks like, I shot a little bit of B-roll. I'll show you right now, just like a quick sunset golden hour kind of shot. It wasn't super advanced, but it just gives you a quick idea of how easy the settings are to change and different things that you can do with this camera. Okay, so starting off with the things I really like about this camera. The first thing is the multiple white balances that you can have in here. This is especially useful if you're shooting videos like this one that I'm doing right now, and maybe I jump to other places. Maybe if I have two different studio walls, or maybe if I have some different settings I want to film in, it's great to have preset white balances so you can hop around between them and not have to reset your white balance every single time with a custom white balance. You can just have custom white balance 1, 2, and whatever, and make it much easier like that. So big big plus on that with this one. The second thing that I really like is the ability to plug in and charge continuously while you're shooting. You don't have to worry about, like right now, literally right now, my camera is blinking a little battery symbol because the Canon camera, the battery is dying and I can't charge it while I'm filming. It's kind of annoying. That's something that's really, really nice about this camera. So S&Q stands for slow and quick, and I really like this for any type of B-roll, especially for travel videos, where they make it so easy on the top wheel. If you just scroll over to S&Q right there, you have slow-mo videos, so it can shoot all the way up to 120 frames per second, and you can choose a whole spectrum of frame rates all the way down to 1 frame per second, which is essentially going to be like a time lapse. It's going to be great for something that you can see moving, but it's not going to be like the time lapse you see where like a plant grows or something. It's not going to be quite like that. But if you want to do that, you want to use the intervalometer on here, which takes a whole bunch of pictures. Now S&Q is really great because for both of those videos, it doesn't just shoot it in 120 FPS, it actually slows it down to whatever you want. So say you want it in 30 frames per second, you shoot it in 120, it'll automatically slow it down, and when you take the SD card out, it has that slow-mo video right on there. Now, if you want to do something slower or sort of more time-lapsey than 1 frame per second, there is an intervalometer on here, and you can shoot whatever interval you want. But with that, you are going to have to use, some secondary application or third-party application, that is, to edit those and splice those pictures all together into one clip. So unlike some of the older Sony cameras, if you're familiar with those, this does not have the 29-minute limit, which is a great thing if you're shooting videos like this and you screw up a lot, as sometimes I do, and my footage ends up being like 30 or 40 minutes long. I'm not saying this one is. This one's pretty good so far, but you never know. It's annoying when it cuts it and it makes you have to start up with a new video, and partially that is because it overheats. So this one is very good at not overheating, and I think a lot of that has to do with the internal components, of course. So this also has the ability to shoot an S-Log2 and S-Log3. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. If you do, that's probably very exciting because it means you can do some excellent color grading with this footage. Now, on top of that, you also have the ability to mount a quick Sony shotgun mic right on the quick mount on the top there, which is very convenient, but of course it is going to be blocking your screen. So let's get into what I don't like about this camera. There's not a ton that I don't like about this camera, but I think my biggest complaint, as most people sort of complain, is the screen. But I think my complaints are a little bit different. So I'm not going to say that the fold-up screen's that exciting. I think some people get too excited over that. Honestly, I'm a little bit concerned about the mechanical design of it. It seems like some very thin metal. I'm sure it is strong enough, but that's just me being very cautious. I would be very afraid of this. And speaking of being afraid of damaging the camera, I kind of don't like how when you fold it back in, the screen is always pointing out. Now I know that's common for a lot of cameras, but the Canon, like the SL2 right here, I really like how you can fold it so the screen is in and you just have, that plastic cover on the back. So if I throw this in my bag real quick, I don't have a cover for it, I don't have a case for it, I don't have to worry about the screen getting damaged. So that's one complaint about the screen, maybe that's two actually. But another complaint is actually, it is a touchscreen, which is very convenient, but the touchscreen isn't really as much as I want. So it's touch to focus. Maybe you can change the settings for what you're touching, but it's not like a really great way to, for the Canon, for example, you can touch all your settings and change everything really quickly on the touchscreen. This, you're going to be changing most of your settings using dials, using the buttons on the actual camera. So a little bit of a drawback. I think they could have utilized the touchscreen a little bit better than that. But again, maybe I'm just missing a setting. Maybe there's a setting in the camera that allows me to change settings with the touchscreen. I don't know. So comparing this to some of the older Sony cameras, it might be confusing because the 63 and the 6500 both came out, about 2 years ago. So it's kind of weird that this one right now is in between those two. I'm not sure how the numbering system works for Sony, but just to give you an idea, the 6500 had something called IBIS. So IBIS, which is sort of a way that you could stabilize your footage. So when you're taking a picture in low light, you can have a slower shutter speed and have less blur. Now they took that out on this camera, so unfortunately there's going to be a little bit more jiggle with this. There's going to be a little more shakiness in your videos, and for that reason, again, I'm not really recommending this one quite as the #1 vlogging camera out on the market. My final complaint is the lack of a headphone jack, because there's literally nothing worse when you're making a YouTube video than filming the entire video only to find out when you go into editing that the shotgun mic was not plugged in all the way, or that the shotgun mic was hissing the whole time, or that any other way the audio might be screwed up. So it's just really, really nice to plug in headphones into a camera and just listen to it and make sure the audio is what you expect. This one you can't do that, which is a little bit of a drawback, but you can always take the SD card out and plug it into a laptop and check it like that if you want. But overall, this is definitely a very, very, very impressive camera. So who is this camera actually ideal for? So I have a couple groups of people that I think this camera would be perfect for. One of them is going to be anyone traveling and looking for that really high quality cinematic B-roll, or that high quality footage for any kind of travel videos or any outdoor shots, or literally any shots that you want either fast or slow motion, and you want some really nice crispy 4K, and you want to set this on a tripod. Those are going to be ideal. So moving around with this, vlogging, maybe not the best camera for you, but definitely for that B-roll, for anything of that sort where you're just looking to go the next level up. So maybe not a super entry level. Maybe you have, this, like I said, it's going to be $1,300 when you're buying the lens with the camera. So a little bit pricier, maybe not my first camera, but if you can afford it, I definitely recommend this camera. So who is it not good for? It's not really the best if you're doing a simple studio just like this, where you have a tripod, one background the whole time. You can probably get by with a cheaper camera than this one. If you are looking to get into photography and you also want to do videography, this is a great camera to get started with, so you can definitely tackle both of those with just one camera right here. Now, another user who would really like this would be anybody who has a studio with multiple backdrops, multiple lighting situations, and overall multiple white balances, which this really excels with. I love how you have the multiple custom white balances, so you can switch between different parts of your studio with no problem at all. So now we're going to do a quick test with this camera, check out what the audio sounds like, what the shake looks like, what the autofocus is like, and a couple other things of that sort. Here's kind of a vlogging mode, and I have the shotgun mic right up there. It's pretty easy to walk around. This is not really that heavy of a camera. I do have a pretty big metal frame on it right now though, and of course, like I said, a shotgun mic. So this is what it sounds like. This is what it looks like. It's definitely a decent camera, definitely very doable to vlog with this. You just have to get the cage like I said before. Okay, so here is the internal microphone. This is what it sounds like. And again, I took the cage off now, so we don't have any interference with the microphone. This is actually what it sounds like if you're vlogging just with this mic. Now, another thing I really like about this is on the screen, I just noticed this now, they have the audio levels right there, so you can tell if your microphone is off or if you're too quiet and the audio levels are incorrect. You can quickly adjust that without having to film the whole thing and then later come back only to find out that your audio is not what you wanted it to be.